As Lazarus, Shinichiro Watanabe's ambitious sci-fi thriller barrels toward the midpoint of its 13-episode run in spring 2025, it continues to weave a complex tapestry of intrigue, morality, and existential dread. Episode 8, titled The Weight of Zero, aired on May 25, 2025, and pivots from the reflective detour of Episode 7's Maldives investigation to a pulse-pounding chase that tests the Lazarus team's cohesion. This episode is a thrilling yet uneven escalation, gripping me with its action and revelations while leaving me frustrated by its scattered narrative threads. Following Episode 7's introspective exploration of Dr. Skinner's environmental motives and Chris's hidden past as Alexandra, Episode 8 thrusts the Lazarus team into a high-stakes pursuit in Babylonia City. Axel and Chris track a lead to a black market dealer smuggling Hapner-related compounds, only to uncover a trap set by an elusive figure tied to Skinner's network. Meanwhile, Elena and Leland decode encrypted data from Skinner's Maldives research, revealing his plan to trigger a global reset via Hapner's neurological effects. Doug's reckless decision to confront the dealer alone leads to a brutal ambush, forcing the team to regroup as a new deadline looms. The episode ends with a chilling hint that Skinner's AI may still be active, manipulating events from the shadows. Episode 8 propels the central narrative forward by unveiling Skinner's apocalyptic vision, a neurological reset, to erase humanity's destructive impulses tied to Hapner's pain-suppressing properties. The discovery of Skinner's active AI, orchestrating traps like the black market ambush, is a major turning point, suggesting he's a step ahead of the team. This revelation deepens the stakes, connecting the Maldives findings to a broader conspiracy. I think the episode effectively fulfills its role in the arc by escalating urgency and tying loose threads, but it raises new questions, such as the AI's autonomy and Doug's fate, without resolving prior mysteries like Chris's Alexandra identity. The pacing is brisk, a stark contrast to Episode 7's languor, but I found it overly frenetic, with rapid shifts between action and exposition leaving little room for emotional grounding. Axel, Chris, and Doug take center stage, with Elena and Leland providing critical support. Axel's roguish confidence falters when he hesitates during the ambush, revealing a fear of losing teammates that adds depth to his carefree facade. Chris's aggressive pursuit of the dealer, fueled by her unresolved past, showcases her determination but also recklessness, consistent with her Episode 7 introspection. Doug's impulsive solo mission, driven by a desire to prove himself, exposes a need for validation that I really appreciate for its humanizing effect, though his near-fatal error feels abrupt given his prior competence. Elena's quiet competence in decoding data hints at untapped potential, but I didn't like how her role remains peripheral. The character's actions align with their established traits, but only Doug shows significant growth, grappling with the consequences of his hubris. The episode explores themes of sacrifice, trust, and the ethical perils of utopian ideals. Doug's reckless sacrifice for the team underscores the cost of proving oneself, while Axel's hesitation highlights the fragility of trust under pressure. Skinner's reset plan raises questions about whether humanity's flaws justify radical intervention, a theme echoed in Chris's bitter remark, "He thinks we're too broken to save." I think the episode conveys these themes effectively through the team's fractured dynamics and Skinner's chilling ideology, but the rushed pacing dilutes their impact, leaving moral questions underexplored. I personally don't understand why the narrative doesn't linger on these ethical dilemmas, which could have elevated the stakes beyond action. Episode 8 expands the Lazarus world by detailing Hapner's neurological mechanism, which targets pain receptors to alter behavior, hinting at a dystopian vision of controlled humanity. The black market underworld of Babylonia City, with its neon-lit slums and illicit trade, adds gritty texture to the setting. The revelation of Skinner's AI as a persistent threat introduces a technological layer, suggesting a world where digital consciousness outlives its creator. I think these additions enrich the narrative, but I don't think the episode connects them cohesively to the environmental themes from Episode 7, leaving the world building fragmented. The brief mention of a global pharmaceutical cartel adds intrigue but feels underdeveloped. The dialogue is sharp and impactful in action sequences, with Chris's terse move or die capturing her intensity. However, expository moments, like Elena's data decryption explanation, feel clunky, relying on jargon-heavy infodumps. Doug's plea to Axel, "I just wanted to be useful," is a poignant highlight, grounding his recklessness in vulnerability. I didn't like how the writing leans on convenient plot devices, like the dealer's sudden betrayal, which strains credibility. The script excels in character-driven tension but falters in balancing action done with narrative clarity, making some twists feel rushed. Mappa and Sola Entertainment deliver dynamic animation, particularly in the ambush sequence, where Axel's parkour and Chris's gunfire are rendered with fluid precision. The neon-drenched streets of Babylonia City contrast sharply with the sterile data hub, reflecting the story's tonal shifts. Character designs, with their sleek, Watanabe-inspired aesthetic, remain consistent, though Doug's bloodied expression during the ambush is a visceral standout. Watanabe's direction shines in kinetic sequences, using rapid cuts and low-angle shots to amplify the ambush's chaos. The framing of Doug's collapse, with shadows creeping across his face, evokes a sense of doom. Episode 8 evokes a roller coaster of excitement and anxiety, with the ambush sequence delivering heart-pounding thrills. Doug's collapse and Chris's fleeting vulnerability stir sadness, while the AI's resurgence sparks unease. The image of Axel standing over a wounded Doug, neon lights flickering, is a haunting highlight. I found the episode gripping but emotionally uneven as the relentless action overshadows its reflective moments. It prompts thought on the cost of trust and the dangers of utopian ideals, but lacks the depth to make it truly resonant. I don't think it's the series' strongest, but its cliffhanger leaves a lingering sense of dread. The episode's core lesson centers on the tension between individual agency and collective survival. Doug's reckless bid for validation and Skinner's radical vision highlight the dangers of prioritizing personal desires over communal good, suggesting that true salvation lies in balancing self with others. A timeless reflection on responsibility in crisis. Lazarus Episode 8 is a thrilling, visually dynamic chapter that excels in its high-octane action, compelling performances, and provocative revelations about Skinner's plan. The evocative soundtrack and gritty Babylonia City visuals are undeniable strengths. However, the frenetic pacing, fragmented narrative, and underdeveloped themes are significant weaknesses, preventing the episode from fully capitalizing on its potential. I think it achieves its goal of escalating tension and advancing the mystery, but falls short of emotional depth, making it a successful yet flawed installment. I anticipate that Lazarus must streamline its focus in the remaining episodes to deliver a cohesive climax. With Watanabe's vision and the series' bold ideas, I hope it balances its action with deeper character exploration to fulfill its apocalyptic stakes.